Welcome into the mosh pit. I'm Dustin, and when I first started playing POE, watching streamers and YouTube creators, kind of their progress kind of messed me up because the game can be really tough for a first timer. Like, you have what build do you want to play? How does that build even play? You never even played the game before. You know, what do all these gems do, and how do the supports work, and what's the damage scaling, and what's this league? What is this thing that I can click? And expectations around where you should be on, like, you watch these guys and they'll be like, oh, on day one I finished this and I finished that, and you know, they're playing a lot more than I was ever being able to play. And then understanding what boss progress is and atlas strats and what's a strat, and you know, you don't even know how do you even get to these bosses, and how do I even know if my build can handle beating one of those, and then not having any stash tabs and learning what are all these stash tabs. There's a ton of different ones. Should I get all these? Do I need to buy all these? Who knows? And then, you know, not to mention the third-party tools. You got Awaken POE Trade, Path Building, POE Ninja, Wealth of Exile, Trade Site on the regular Path of Exile. All that stuff. It's just, it can be really overwhelming. And, you know, I sat down a few years back and said, you know, I'm really going to learn this stuff just one thing at a time. And so I picked the build. I found one that somebody said strong and was tanky, and I just did that. And I tried to follow along as best I can and learn things one thing at a time. And I'd reach to, you know, if something would pop up and I'd say, what is this? And I would go search the wiki and read and read and read. And not a lot of people have a whole lot of patience for that, but it's been fun for me. And I looked for ways that, you know, I can play the game and learn the game and learn. And that was kind of the fun that I was having, was learning. And it was tough. You know, POE is kind of like learning with a smack to the face sometimes, because you go into a boss and you get insta melted and you go, what the hell was that? And it doesn't really tell you what the hell was that, and you kind of just have to learn what about my build is not working or broken. And now that I've played a few years worth of POE, and you know, I have all that prior knowledge, I still find that the FOMO is creeping in and distract me from the reason why I even play this game, which is to have fun playing it. And I can see how people that are playing Path of Exile and watching content creators can go, man, I'm not anywhere near this. I'm never going to make it to that. Oh my God. Because, you know, within 1 week, you have a lot of them that have finished all the content. They beat all the bosses. They've finished their atlas. Their build is all the way online. And now they're showing you how to do these farming strats. And you're like, farming strats? I'm still working through the campaign, or, you know, I can't even get my first void stone yet. And if you're following along with some of these people that can play 18 hours a day, I cannot. You're gonna feel like you're missing out on something. And instead, you know, I'm finding that I'm figuring out where's the fun for me. The fun for me is to make a little bit of progress every time I can log in. You know, I'm playing 3, 4, maybe 6 hours a day max. Here and there, and making progress a little bit at a time to complete the things, you know, that have like a checklist of things. What can I get done within this reasonable amount of time that I can play? And, you know, maybe I'm having fun blasting maps. Maybe I get a little bored with that and I want to start running some delve or doing some heists. There's so many different activities that you can have fun with if you're not focused on trying to catch all of these streamers and content creators that are way out ahead of the pack. You know, if what you find is fun is playing 18 hours a day and getting to that level, then that's cool too. You know, you have to find the fun for you, not the fun that you feel like everyone else is doing and that you can't catch. Like this league, I always try to find a new skill or a new way to play the game every league, so that way it's something else that I'm learning on how to do in the game, because there's so many different, you know, ways to play this game. And I also said this league I've been playing with the same hideout for like the past 4 leagues, and I'm changing my hideout up. And so I changed my hideout and worked on moving the people around and how to make the flow of it and the look of it fit kind of my style and my play likes, I guess you would say, not the play style, because, you know, if you're playing the game, a lot of the game has to do with, you know, things that you like, the sound of the loot hitting the ground, the look of the filter, which I really need to work on my loot filter. I don't like my current loot filter. Things like that, and not going, oh, well, you know, I haven't farmed Maven 7 times, or, you know, I haven't gotten all my void stones yet. You know, I've gotten 2 of them now, and I still have 2 more to go. That's something that I can do that'll be fun to make that progress, to get my build to a place where I feel comfortable doing those fights without having an issue. And that's the fun I'm finding. And I feel like I really wanted to kind of put this video together to say you don't have to have somebody else dictate what is fun for you in Path of Exile, because there's just so many different things that you can do. I mean, maybe you're a sadist and you like Ultimatum. Maybe you want to deep dive delve until you get somewhere where Steve's at. Who knows? But watching others and feeling broke and dying a lot, where you feel like I just don't have the currency to buy the things I have, and then I'm also on top of that dying a lot, it can be real challenging in your initial first time playing through the game. And sometimes, a couple of times, if you're trying some new stuff out, like I've tried some bow builds and stopped and went back to playing something that felt a little bit easier and more comfortable because I just couldn't quite figure out the play style. But when when you're watching Path of Exile content and you see somebody who went through everything within a week and is already talking about their next build that they're going to put together, and you don't feel like your build is even at snuff. Maybe you're not even at level 90 yet. You haven't even opened up your second Atlas tree. Those kinds of things can really turn on the FOMO switch inside your brain to where you feel like, oh man, what's the point? I'm just going to go play something else. And I would be here to encourage you to try to find somewhere where you can still make some progress. If you feel like your build isn't working out, then maybe look at some build guides that have some smooth progress. Like this league, I really enjoyed playing Poisonous Concoction of Bouncing during the Freesia event that happened in the last league. And I said, you know what, I'm going to look up some builds for Peaconk, and found the Anime Princess, who has a whole lot of information on this build and how to play it and how to take it into in-game if you want as well, or swap out to Viper Strike of the Mamba or something like that. And I found that finding somebody who says, here's a good build, here's all the things that you can do for it, here's a ton of notes in the path of building. I mean, those kinds of things are invaluable. And if you feel like you have a build that just isn't working out, or you don't feel fun when you're playing it, you're not having any fun, feel free to switch it up. It works. Sometimes maybe you played enough Path of Exile that you feel like I really need a challenge, and then you can go play Ruthless if you wanted to. And Ruthless is another whole nother way to play the game. Hardcore is another way. I mean, there's just so many different ways without looking at how others are doing it necessarily. Maybe for builds, but I'm talking about their progress, and not looking at the fear that you're missing out on something that they have. Looking at what somebody else has will rob you of all the joy in your life. So, smile a little bit more, listen to some heavy metal while you're blasting maps. There's a new Lamb of God album out. Go listen to that. And I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.